So I'm saying they could easily use the whole thing. Should work.
Checked out the Moffitt Cancer Center. They're in the top 5 nationwide. Minneapolis, Texas. They're all good, resourceful hospitals that have specific illnesses. So we getting some snow this week?
A little bit Wednesday, I don't think it's gonna amount to much.
It's not to get the damn plows out to move an inch of snow.
Oh, yeah, just enough. Almost use as much material on an inch as you do a foot. It's frustrating, but.
Enjoying your job?
I am.
Glad to.
If the last community I worked for was anything like this one, I'd still be there.
Everything happens for a reason.
This is day and night.
All right. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Monday, February 9, 2026 council meeting. Thank you for being here. Roll call, all counselors are present except Counselor Smith, who will not be here this evening. Who would like to read the invocation this evening?
I can do it. I'm going to move over though.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
okay for just a minute. Okay. All right. Please join me in an attitude of prayer. We pray for our country at all times, that all citizens are safe, healthy, and happy. We pray for wisdom for all those who guide and govern. Help this government body in every situation to know and to do the things that are right and that are just, with soundness of judgment and making vital decisions. We pray for the peacemakers, that the holy life-giving spirit may ever dwell in their hearts and the barriers of fear, suspicion, and hatred may fall. This we pray to the Holy Father. Amen.
Amen. Everyone would join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 4 is our declaration of any conflict of interest. Is there any counselor who wishes to declare one at this time?
Yes, 10.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? All right. Item number 5 is public forum. Is there any member of the public who wishes to speak? Okay. Number 6, minutes, and we do not have any minutes to review this evening. Item 7 is bid openings, awards, and appointments, and under 7A, we do have appointments to boards and committees starting on page 2 of your packets. First is the Caribou Congregate Housing Board, I believe. Yes. What are the wishes of the council?
I'll make a motion to appoint Lisa Plord, Caribou Housing Authority Director, and Heather Bartlett, Caribou Housing Authority FSS Coordinator, to the Caribou Congregate Housing Development Corporation. That's a lot. For the term of 1 year expiring on March 31st, 2027.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Bagley?
Aye.
Kelly?
Aye.
Knight Fair?
Aye.
Lovewell?
Aye.
Watson?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. And the next item is for the Caribou Utilities District. What are the wishes of the council for this?
Well,
You want to do it?
you can either do it and I'll second
Okay.
it, or we can do it the
I'll
other way
just-
around.
yep,
I'm pretty
I'll just
flexible.
do this one too. I'll make a motion to appoint Mark Draper to the Caribou Utilities District Board and Naomi Norelli to the Nylander Board of Trustees, both with a term ending on December 31st, 2028.
Second.
Motion and a second. Further discussion? Bagley?
Aye.
Kelly?
Aye.
Knight Fair?
Aye.
Lovewell?
Aye.
Watson?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 8 is public hearings and possible action items. We don't have any of those this evening, so we'll go on to item 9, reports by staff and committees. And up first is the Capital Expense Budget Committee report. I don't know if we'll be doing that or not.
Deputy Mayor Smith was going to provide the
That's what I
update
thought.
on
Okay.
that. I don't know if anyone else from the committee wanted to update on that.
We can get an update at the next
Yeah.
meeting.
Okay.
They
That's
have
fine.
met twice, the second time with department heads, as it's stated in the memo. So.
Just discuss their budgets, what was on it.
Yeah.
Is there another one tomorrow? Is that what it said? Another?
Yes.
So maybe it would be
Plan.
better just to have it
Yeah.
updated next time?
Nothing has been decided,
Okay.
if that's what.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing's been decided.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
9B is the city manager's report, and that's on page 6 of your packet.
So, right, so if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I have information in here about the components of our municipal tax bill. We're starting to talk now about our municipal budget, so I think it's important for people to realize that the tax bills that they do receive, the municipal portion is 40% of that bill. So if your tax bill is $1,000, that means 400 supports municipal, which is what we're going to be talking about for the next couple of months here. $110 supports the Aroostook County portion of the property tax bill, and $490 of that $1,000 bill goes to the RSU. And that is something that once that bill is presented to us from the county and from the RSU, we have to pay it. Like, it's not anything that the city council has any say over those bills, but the taxpayers in Caribou, well, citizens in Caribou, if they are registered voters, they can vote on the RSU portion of the bill. Last year, it had to be voted on 3 times before it passed. So in the packet and online, you can find out more information about how it's calculated, where the numbers come from on the RSU side, and the information that's available online about that. There's a couple of articles to pay attention to in the school budget. One is Article 12, and that the passage of Article 12 appropriates the funding required to leverage state money. The passage of Article 14 raises funds over and above what the state requires for that state money. And all of that will be available as the school starts with their budget process. I did speak with Richard Fortier, who is on the county budget committee, and they are going to be starting March 2nd on that. We have a lot of information on our website, including the tax bills. There's information about who to call about the school portion, the county portion, and also the municipal portion. Again, the municipal is 40% of the tax bill. This has the county tax bill history and how much it's increased over the year. Also, I have information in here about emails with Maine DOT, with the Aroostook River Fort Street Bridge. This afternoon, I received more information, which I emailed out to the council, and then I've also got at your stations. And I will work with our website person to get that online so that the public can read that also. And if you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you. That's kind of a lot of good information. Okay, item 10 is new business ordinances and resolutions. And 10A is the removal of the pellet silo at the Caribou Public Library. Peter, did you want to just give a little synopsis of what's going on for us?
Good afternoon. There is a pellet silo that is currently at the Caribou Public Library. There were ones located at a few different municipal properties. Some of them have been removed over the years, mostly in 2023 with the removal of the one from the municipal building as well as the fire department. With the renovations that are going on at the library, we need to have the pellet silo removed to make room for one of the offices that's being constructed. As this is sort of a giant piece of city property that has never sort of worked. Back in 2023, what was done was the sale of the pellet silo itself under the conditions of the money that somebody was willing to pay for it, as well as them removing it themselves. I am currently asking that in order to expedite the process of it being removed and getting someone to take it off our hands, that the monetary allotment be removed and just have it gone in exchange for the in-kind work of removing it.
Is there value to that?
It was estimated back in 2023 to be between $1,000 and $3,000, and it does include all of the pellets that are still inside, but that's whether or not the pellets are still viable, which we're not sure. All of the pellets that are inside are the original pellets that were put in back in 2013.
Yeah, you're not going to have much
Integrated
liability
pellets.
there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What are the wishes, or does
I do
anyone have
another
any
question.
questions?
Do we require some type of liability insurance for somebody that would be removing that? I would assume we do, but if we don't, I would assume we should, so.
That's a good question.
It is not one that I know the
Yeah,
answer
they
to.
should
Okay.
provide us a certificate of
Insurance.
liability insurance. All of our vendors that work on our property
Okay,
require that.
that's the only thing I had.
So we need to add that to whatever language goes out.
Yeah.
Any other questions? I'd entertain a motion from the council.
Sure, I make a motion that for the pellet silo at the Caribou Public Library to be listed for sale as is, where is, and on first come, first served basis as an in-kind exchange for removal within 30 days of selection.
I second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Bagley?
Aye.
Kelly?
Aye.
Knight Fair?
Aye.
Lovewell?
Aye.
Watson?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Yes,
Peter.
absolutely. Thanks, Peter.
So 10B, I did not receive a final version of their contract, so
Okay.
I'm hoping I'll have it for the next meeting.
Okay,
So we
that's
can't do
fine.
anything on
We
it.
will
Need to
skip
stay
item
here.
10B. Item 10C is an update on city council meeting dates. Penny, you just want to kind of explain that real quick?
Yep. So when we set the calendar for the 2026 meeting schedule, the city council budget workshop was set up for February 23rd, and a regular city council meeting was set up for March 9th. Since that time, the bid deadline for the Caribou Public Library Main Connectivity Authority Grant Project was set for February 17th. So it would be advantageous to approve a bid on the project as soon as possible and not wait till the March 9th meeting. We also learned this week that the City Council needs to hold a public hearing on the Community Development Block Grant application for BEEVR, which the council had voted to move that to a letter of interest. It was moved forward by the state, so we can actually submit an application on their behalf. And the application deadline is March 1st, so we need a public hearing before that. So I'm requesting that the City Council update the City Council meeting dates to change the February 23rd budget workshop to a regular City Council meeting, and the March 9th, 2026 regular City Council meeting will be the budget workshop.
Sounds fine to me.
This will also give time for department heads to present their budgets in an open forum.
What are the wishes of the council?
I'll second that. I mean, do you want me to do
You gotta
that? Because
motion
she
it.
just,
You gotta-
for the love
She
of
can't
fruit.
make the motion.
Anybody taping this so we can just play it back? You know?
Yep.
Make a motion to update the city council meeting dates to change the February 23rd, 2026 budget workshop to a regular city council meeting, and the March 9th, 2026 regular city council meeting will now be a budget workshop.
A second.
Motion and a second. Further discussion? Bagley?
Aye.
Kelly?
Aye.
Knight Fair?
Aye.
Lovewell?
Aye.
Watson?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now for the fun stuff. Item 10D is the department heads present a budget. So, starting on page 16 of your packet. So per the city charter, section 506, the budget process shall be divided into three processes: the expense budget, capital expense budget, and income budget. So we will start hearing department budgets this evening, and Penny, I'm assuming that the order that they're here is the order that we want to present.
Well, I forgot that Gary wasn't going to be here tonight because he had a schedule change, so If we
That's
get through
okay.
everything, you know, everyone else and everyone still wants to hear about things, I've got my binder and I can start talking about some other departments.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so Peter, you are up for Nylander and the Caribou Public Library.
So if you look on page 56, that's where the Nylander Museum budget will start.
Again. As far as the museum budget goes, there is minimal changes from last year. We do have changes for the salary reflecting the 3% cost of living adjustment approved by the city council, as well as other changes that are sort of our annual changes, given contracts between the telephones, which have recently been changed over from Spectrum. So there are adjustments there with the decrease of the telephone line as well as the increase in internet. Other adjustments are related to heating, fuel, water, sewer, property insurance, social security, city and state retirement. Most of those are annual fluctuations that we see depending on the different rates of everything. Most of that comes from either the city manager or from the finance department, as well as projected estimations of things. Outside of that, the museum budget is not changing very much. Content with what we have been working with and what we're working towards, so for the moment.
It's really like a 1% increase?
Yes, so in the end, it's a 1.8% increase. Between the decreases of the telephone line as well as some other decreases, it is able to cover the increase in salaries and some of the other costs as well, balancing out to a 1% increase of $592.
Nice.
So you only spent 47,000 in 2025 out of a budget of 54. What was the explanation for that?
So there were a couple of programs that we ended up wanting to do last year, but that are normally budgeted for, such as bringing up Chewonki's Traveling Natural History Program. It's a very exciting program. We usually have a huge turnout for it, but unfortunately with Chewonki, we were unable to bring them up last year. We've already scheduled them this year for June. And we're actually hoping to bring that number down a tiny bit by sharing the cost of their travel expenses with a neighboring location. So we're hoping to cut about 300 out of that, but we're not sure if we'll be able to do that. We need the other organization to agree. So that's sort of the explanation there, which is we had planned a little bit more for this budget that we were unable to achieve just because of planning and dates and things like that. We already have Dino Days coming up, which will be the week of school break, February 17th through the 21st. We have tons of things planned, and we're currently talking with the movie theater about hosting a special film night for Jurassic Park screening, as well as a bunch of other programs that are happening all week long.
Does anyone have any other questions for Peter on this particular item?
No.
Okay, do we want to go ahead and move to the public library? So that's starting on page 70.
Similarly with Department 12, there are some changes to things like the telephone and electricity that are just sort of annual rate changes. The most important ones come down to salary, which is an increase of $1,449 to account for the 3% adjustment. We also have $100 that we have added to our advertising line, 00302. Last year, with the new bid expenditures for advertisements necessary for our renovation project, we were overspent a little bit in that line. We wanted to make sure we added some money to cover the other bids that we'll be doing this year. In our building maintenance, 03101, we have added $1,500. Pine State has increased the number of times that they need to come out to the building, and with the total cost of the gas it takes them to come up, as well as the service cost to our elevator having to get it repaired, we've built in some more to cover the additional times that they have to come out. Not just for repair, but also for their 4 times a year inspection now.
This is based on the current elevator.
Yes, our current elevator, we will have a new elevator that will also require a new inspection, which will run us about $150 for the new certificate, not counting the extra inspection that they will have to do, and so that is included in this price.
When do you anticipate that that will begin for the new elevator that's going in? Well, we're still waiting on some information on that,
Yes,
right?
you guys will be approving a contractor, and then we'll be able to get that all taken care of.
Perfect.
Outside of that, everything else is sort of just annual rate changes between heating, fuel, electricity, and that's about it.
And only a little over 0.5% change.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me get that exact number. That is a total of $1,900 at 0.64% increase.
Yep.
Excellent.
So you had about, again, another like $22,000 that was budgeted in '25 and not spent. What was
Yes.
the reason for that?
Most of that was in staff salaries. Due to the change in our janitorial contract, I tried to keep our hours as tight as possible to make sure that we were not only losing the contract and adding on hours to cover janitorial, we were also continuing to pay on the first couple of months of janitorial, costing us around $50,000 that we had removed from our budget. So I tried to keep staff hours as tight as possible throughout the year to make sure we had some breathing room.
Thank you.
Any further questions for Peter?
Did you want to talk at all about capital, which would be
Yes.
on page 124? It's a little spreadsheet here.
The capital improvement request this year is for $7,600. 600 of that is for the library computers, which would be the replacement of some of the library workstations that the staff use. The other computers are being taken care of by the renovation project, the ones that are public facing. Additional 2,500 is being asked for the replacement of the Carnegie portion of the roof in 2030. An additional $2,500 for the replacement of
Carpeting.
the carpeting in
2027.
2027 in the rest of the building, and additional $2,000 for the archival flooring, adding up to a total of $7,600.
So are they not replacing the flooring as part of the new construction
They are
project?
in the new portion that they are building.
But not throughout the whole
Not
building?
throughout the rest of the building.
Are you going to make it cohesive once you do that?
That's the plan.
Okay.
That's also why we have the timeline set. We could move that up and start doing it now, but unfortunately, all of my collection lives in the portion that has not been touched, and I don't want to rip all that up as well at the moment. So we'd rather wait until after
Mhm.
renovation is finished, and then be able to make all of the flooring cohesive across the library.
Makes sense.
Good plan.
So you've got all three of these things spread over multiple years. Is 2026 the first allocation, or do you have money in those reserve accounts already to pay for part of that?
For the carpeting of the library, yes, we do have money to pay for it. We have been asking for that request for the last several years, and we have gotten the distributions for that.
So how much do you have in the balance in that account, that reserve account? Do you recall? It's not that.
I want to say it's between 50 and 70,000 between the distributions for the Carnegie portion of the roof and the
Okay.
carpeting.
That's on account now.
Yes.
Okay.
We ask for small increments over the course of a long
Yeah,
period of time.
and so the carpet will be replaced in '27, the roof in 2030, and the flooring in 2028. Am I reading that correctly?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Any further questions?
No?
Anyone from the audience have any questions for Peter? Peter, while you're there, do you want to just give a quick update on all the activity at the library? You've had a lot of contractors in.
Yes.
So it looks like we're going to have some interest for that bid opening on the 17th.
Yes, we held a pre-bid meeting a week after the bid advertisements officially went out. I met with senior project architect Matthew Carter from Haley Ward. There were 8 contractors in attendance, as well as myself and Matthew. It was a great meeting, and they had a few questions that have since been answered in the form of 2 different addendums that I've sent Penny. Some of the contractors have continued to be inside the library almost every single day with multiple subcontractors and getting new quotes and new estimates and measurements every single day. We've had further meetings with brand-new contractors who were unable to attend the original pre-bid meeting. So we've had 2 of those so far that I have met with personally, and I have forwarded off questions to the project architect. We are excited because we believe we'll have a minimum of 3 bidders coming in at the end of this week, I believe, to be opened up on the 17th of next week. It's been a very exciting couple of weeks at the library, very busy.
Great. All right,
And
thank
I
you,
hear
Peter.
Counselor Knight Fair came over too to the library, right?
Yes, I did.
Isn't it exciting?
It is exciting.
Yeah, yeah. Counselor Bagley's been attending some of the meetings too, and it really is an exciting project. Would you agree, Counselor
Yes.
Bagley?
It's going to be beautiful.
Have you
Mhm.
Yeah.
taken the opportunity to impress upon the prospective bidders that we're going to have a very tight construction schedule?
Yes,
They better be prepared and be
they were
willing
alerted
and
to
able to do
the,
the job in the time allotted.
they were alerted to the deadlines at the pre-bid meeting by
Yeah, good.
Matthew. Yes.
Good. That's going to be a challenge.
Well, another good thing is we've gotten response from our neighbors over there, Solomon and Hunter, that they're willing to allow them to do some staging in their back parking lot. So that's going to help too. So we're just very fortunate to live in a community that everyone pitches in to make these deadlines. So we're very excited about that.
Thanks, Peter.
Thanks,
Thank
Peter,
you.
very much.
Okay, up next is Chief LaJoy to talk to us about Caribou Fire and Ambulance. Starts on page 74 of your packet.
Good evening. Okay. Most of the expense budget, I'm pretty much status quo on what I was last year. I do have some increases. Just go through the items that have significant increases to them. We'll start with 3101, 01401, which is new equipment. I did do a $6,000 increase to that line. That is an offset. So I have a new revenue line this year for our fire permits that we write out to citizens, Caribou, New Sweden, Woodland. We charge $10 per permit, and on a typical year, we usually fill out about 600 of those, so that would be equivalent to the $6,000 that I increased in my new equipment line, and that will give us the opportunity to purchase some new hydraulic rescue equipment batteries for aging batteries that are starting to fail, and also with the awardment of the Volunteer Fire Assistant Grant through the Maine Forest Service, that allows us to purchase some equipment also where they do a 50-50 grant with us. So that money there will give us the opportunity to do that. 3101, 01504, which is the cell phone. There was a $1,000 increase to that line, and that was for the new cell phone for the fire chief, and that was to be compliant with the FOAA that come through this year, the Freedom of Access Act. So that's where that increase comes from. Moving down to heating fuel at 02603. We do have an increase there, and that's just basically fluctuating costs on the cost of fuel. That varies from year to year. Just trying to cover our bases there.
Sorry, what page?
75.
75.
Okay.
Right down at the bottom.
There, I'm, thanks.
Along with that, electricity, which is the next line down, got a $1,500 increase to that, and that's just because of the rate changes on those. So just trying to cover my bases there.
Chief, did you factor in the fact that you're going through a remodel? I mean, I know it's impossible to predict, but do you know what I mean? Do you have some sort of, I'm not going to hold it to you here, but you know, some sort of back number that, you know, we're gonna save X amount by re-insulating. You know where I'm going with that, you know?
Yeah, yep.
There's some construction,
They're gonna be redoing the lighting and stuff, so.
yeah.
So we will see something there.
I don't expect anything concrete, but if you could just, for these conversations, it would be nice to know, because at some point, you know, these guys are gonna be coming in, and I don't think they're bringing their own electricity, so they're gonna be dependent on you to do the work and the remodeling. So I think you need to make sure that's in your budget so that, you know, we can compensate for that.
And I'll take a look back when we did the repairs to the roof with all the
Yeah.
welding.
Yeah,
That would give us a good idea.
yeah, at least enough to ballpark, so we're not sitting here going, holy cow, where'd that come from? So, okay.
Are all your labor figures, including, you know, related retirements and all of that stuff and Social Security, are all those based on, you know, current 2026 wage scales, or how did you work through that?
I didn't work through a lot of that because obviously we're still in contract negotiations. I still have 2 positions open, so a lot of the money there is open money.
But that's accounted for in the budget,
Right.
assuming those will be filled.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really what I was asking.
Yeah, yeah,
Thanks.
yep.
I guess my question in that would be that I see the increase in regular pay, those to the tune of what, 219,000, and then subtractions in workers' comp and unemployment.
And health insurance.
And yeah, I'm not sure how that,
Yeah,
I don't know how that,
Yeah, and a lot of that comes from Carl HR on those numbers there.
with our last several budgets that we have for the regular pay hours, is that assuming full-time or full staffing? Is that what we're basing this plus the recent wage increase?
Yeah.
So is that where that number comes from? Because that seems like a lot more than, I mean, I'm just trying to do the
We
math.
have to budget, like Councilor Bagley said, we have to budget assuming the positions are gonna be all filled.
So I'm just trying to figure out where 219,000 additional comes from if we're, I mean, would we do 4 points something, 25 or something?
Yep, we did
Yeah.
4.25.
Yep, so if last year was 936,000 and that was assuming full staff, and even if you take 4.25% increase, I'm not sure where this additional 219, I'm just trying to figure that out.
Well, let me make sure that I entered it right from what Carl gave me, just to double check.
What line are you on?
I'm on line 1.
Salaries.
Oh, there it is. Thanks. Yeah, assuming last year was budgeted at full staff, this
Right.
year's budgeted, right, you would
Yeah.
expect 4.25.
Right.
Or in that neighborhood.
Yep, that's what I have on here, and I know that you had some members of your squad that had some additional trainings and stuff this year. Do you know if that bumped them up into different pay categories, or?
No, that wouldn't have affected any of that. No.
Yeah, okay,
No.
I don't know. We can certainly check that number. I
Yeah.
thought maybe I had entered it incorrectly, because that can happen too.
Yeah, I'd have to get with Carl and just
Yeah,
figure that
yeah,
out.
because I was just trying to figure out how that was figured, but, thank you.
Should be like a 43,000 increase.
Page 76, building supplies, had to do an increase of $700 there, just cost of everything is going up, so just trying to, we were a little bit over for 2025 on that line, so that's why I did an increase there. Moving on to page 77, our paid call firefighters, which is 06701. There's an increase there of $2,000. That just corresponds with the minimum wage increase. That's our pay that we pay our paid call firefighters for the entire year of calling, going to fire calls and things like that.
Before you go forward, Under recognitions and awards, can you just tell us why the 20% increase there?
Yep, that line there.
Excuse me.
So there are, when we do our, I guess our yearly recognition, I have money in there set aside for recognition, pins, things like that, certificates for the men and women of the department. I put an increase in there just to go along with the increase in what it costs to have some of that stuff done. I'd like to do as much as I can for recognition for them for the year, so just trying to put a little extra in there, just maybe do something a little bit better for them.
Okay.
Page 78, gas, oil, and filters, that's just anticipating just fuel costs there. Our fuel cost comes out of there for our gas motor vehicles throughout the year, so that fluctuates. Moving on to page 79, our diesel fuel, so it's showing a $7,500 increase. I caught that this afternoon. I have to get with Penny. I'm not sure. Last year, I seemed like I kept that at $25,000 last year, but I don't remember what might have happened.
We might have cut it
Yeah.
like halfway through or something.
Might have, yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that's what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's some of these we end up like shaving off, you know.
Yeah,
at the-
so. Batteries, we had seemed to have a few failures last year, so I'm anticipating some more, so I just put a little extra money, $500, into our battery fund for our vehicle batteries, because some of them are getting up there in age, and all of our vehicles have at least 3 to 4 batteries per vehicle, so, especially the big trucks.
That's different than the batteries on the other page.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
just
they're
double checking.
totally different. Yep. Moving down to our paid callback, which is 080-01. That is for when we do not have personnel on the full-time side to cover the station. We have some paid call members that are trained as EMTs, and some aren't. Some we use as drivers, but we've utilized them a lot in 2025 just because of our shortages we've had. So that was pretty close to or actually was over the $15,000 that I had budgeted in 2025. So I've upped that $3,000 to get us to $18,000, and hopefully that'll carry us throughout the year for our callback, as I'm anticipating we're probably going to use them just as much this year as we did last year for callbacks. Down to our transport meals, 085-01. That's another one, Penny, I think we might have shaved off that, because I've normally kept that pretty steady across, so we'll have to check on that. I caught that late this afternoon.
Well, I don't enter in these this time of year. Like, this is whatever was entered in for last year.
Okay.
This 2025 budget. The only thing I'm entering in now is the 2026. And
Okay.
then the actual will pull from Trio. That's why I've changed to doing this this way, like the last 3 years, is
Okay.
to have what we hope would be better numbers, because I'm entering fewer numbers.
Right.
Most of them are generated in Trio.
And then on page 80, our medical supplies, 087-03. Again, just medical supplies go up every year, so I'm just anticipating the increase is coming in 2026, so I added another $2,000 to that line, and hopefully that'll keep us in line to where we need to be, and that pays for various things, ambulance supplies or medical supplies we have to keep in stock, also our oxygen tanks and leases for our tanks. So the leases have come up this year, so that's usually pretty good upfront cost to get that in, so.
Well, you have you have two of the same label for two different accounts, medical supplies. What's the difference between medical supply on the top and medical supply beneath it?
There's actually 3 lines. There's an ambulance supplies, oxygen, and then a medical supplies.
It's just that it totals.
Yeah, it
Like,
totals, and
yeah.
although 3 of those total into one.
So,
Where's the ambulance?
On 79, it starts on 79.
79. yeah.
On the ends.
so not to put you on the spot,
Oh, there it is.
just so I can get a grip. Who are we buying from? Who does our pharmaceuticals?
Cary Medical Center.
So-
Like all our IV fluids,
And your push drugs on scene?
push
company?
drugs, that's usually, the hospital usually.
So we're utilizing that. And as far as like disposable supplies, the basics, 4x4s, 2x2s, who do we get those from?
Majority, all that stuff is done through Boundtree, which.
Boundtree?
Yeah, they're really good. Their prices are very competitive. and,
Okay.
We have really good luck.
And who's carrying our oxygen?
Oxygen is through Maine Oxy in Prescott.
Okay,
Yep, we used to be through Matheson, but their increases were getting out of hand, so
yeah.
I ended up
No.
getting out of that and actually saving us a couple $1,000s.
No, my
Yeah,
tanks
so-
are from Matheson. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So,
Do
but
you have to get a quote every time, or do you have like 2026 rates, like in the book now? You know what you're gonna pay
For like the oxygen.
for all of the medical supplies line. I'm just curious whether you have a contract or purchase order already for all of
No,
that.
no, we just purchase as we go.
As you go, at the price, whatever they're charging at the time,
Yeah.
you don't have a contract or anything?
No, no.
Okay.
If memory serves me correctly, with the supplies that you get through the hospital, that's a good deal for you folks
Yeah.
by doing it with, in that partnership,
And
right?
then everything's readily available.
Exactly.
there,
And there's no
so-
compatibility issues. They're both using the same brand, so it's not
Yeah.
like, what was this,
Yeah.
catch me up,
That's great.
Right.
Can we go back, and I know you didn't talk about this, but I'd like you to kind of blurb out a few sentences on your bad debt allowance, and your collection fees. Can you just ballpark me how we're working that?
What page is that on? So I can look on the
79.
same-
We'd be talking about lines 082-01, 082-02. Because you guys don't bill. You have a company that does your billing for you, correct?
Correct,
Okay.
which is CompStar, yep.
Okay. So the bad debt allowance, now, walk me through what we're doing here, because technically that should be Coinstar also.
Well, CompStar does all the billing as far as collections and stuff is through
Correct.
another company.
Okay?
And that's where we get a lot of our bad debt back from, is the collection agency.
Right.
And once they collect, and then they're like networked with CompStar, so we're able to move that money around there. so.
Okay, I see where you're going with that. Okay.
Yep.
And what's our recall rate collection wise? Like 100% pay is wonderful and it never really happens.
No, it doesn't.
But like realistically, what's, let's say like out of 100 bad debts, what are you pulling back? Like maybe,
Oh, I would have to look back on that to get you.
yeah,
a
can you
number.
just, that's an information only thing, okay, please?
I would say probably 80%.
That's good. Okay.
That's what we shoot for, so.
Yeah.
Some are different than others. It fluctuates on various ends, so.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
So is CompStar paid out of the contracted services?
Yep.
Okay, so, for, just to give you an idea, so for last year, what CompStar was paid was $40,050.80.
Where'd you
And,
see- I need
so
the
that's
line.
on page 77,
Thank you.
and it's gonna be, near the bottom of the page, 056-04, okay?
Yep.
And you can see that the bad debt allowance, since we've been using CompStar, has gone down considerably.
Yes, it has. I was just curious
Yeah.
as to who was handling it.
Yeah, and I'm sure Chief LaJoy can do that for you. And you can see we've been reducing the collection fee because I guess they haven't had to send that to their collection arm very often, it doesn't seem like. But there's still a few, you know, that's just,
There always
you
will
have
be.
to have a procedure, and, you know, when it gets to that point, it needs to be sent to collection and things.
No,
but-
unfortunately, it's always the case. One of the things that concerns me, and I do it just as an informational blurb, is that a lot of the people we're caring for are main care, Medicare, and their pay tables are atrocious. You know, I mean, out of 100%, you're lucky most times if you can pull a 60% out of them. And then the wait time for that payment is crazy. You know, so it's just, when, it's not a true budget item, but it's something that you want to kind of keep in the back of your mind. You know, like last year when the governor and the president had a discussion and things went sideways, you know, that even crawled into this effectively and slowed down how things go. And you can only do business for so long with a handshake before someone wants to see a real dollar. So that's why in my world, I like to, you know, what's our collection rate? How well are we doing? Where's it going? What's the direction? You know, it kind of lets me know, you know, for any revenue stream, you want to make sure there's a revenue stream. So, thank you.
And Chief LaJoy
Chief-
did, oh, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just going to say, Chief, I think we spoke about this recently, and I think that you've said that you've gotten payments fairly quickly, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, so my administrative assistant, Matt,
Yep.
he's the
Yeah.
guru in the billing, and he pinches every penny, so if he can collect it, he will collect it, so he does an excellent job. with
No,
all-
definitely.
Keeping track of that, so.
Definitely pass on to him that, you know, I personally appreciate his efforts because I know what he's doing. When I was working on the civilian community before I retired, I sat on these type of boards weekly when we discussed, you know, billing and stuff for patients in skilled rehab, long-term care, and assisted living. And it's a nightmare to keep track of these numbers. And Matt's, and I don't mind saying it publicly, Matt's doing a hell of a job, you know, and he's a credit to the department. I think he's often overlooked because he's not wearing his bunker gear when he comes running out of the building. Do you know what I mean? But he's the silent backbone that holds your place together. So,
Chief, back to the contracted services, so you're asking for 49,000 again this year, which is what you asked for. Last year, but you only spent 40.
Yeah. and
So, do
it-
you have a contract in place? Don't you know what that number is?
No, because it's a percentage on our run, so what we bill out, and it's a percentage of that.
Okay.
So it fluctuates, yeah.
You got a budget for
Yeah.
it.
So every month, they send us a bill every month based on what they've brought in for collecting on money, so.
That's good to understand. You know, that's why I ask these questions. I'm always looking at what you're asking for is more than what you spent last year. Not what you budgeted, but what you actually spent. That really tells me what the need is. So that's what I'm gonna flag on, and I'll be asking about that for all the lines that look like that. So, and maybe you can too, go back down through and be prepared to explain, you know, in those cases where you're asking for the same amount or more than last year where you weren't able to spend it, just to have a little note why,
Yeah,
so we understand.
sure.
Thanks.
I'm thinking with the 8.64% increase in this budget from last year, or request, I'm wondering if, when you look at a couple of those lines that you were talking about, looking at with Carl, maybe that'll come down a little bit.
That'll change it, yeah.
I would
Yeah.
think so. I would think so for sure.
Well, and what I just said about comparing to actual, you're about 500,000 more than what you asked, or what you spent last year.
Yeah.
So that's significant.
Because I initially had come out with 6.54 increase, but that was my numbers, so.
Over last year's budget.
Right.
But over last year's actual, was for like 500,000 more.
Yeah.
So,
Any further questions for Chief?
nope.
Thank you, Chief.
I did want to say that some of the contractual allowances with what you're talking about, Medicare and Medicaid, that's reflected in the revenue budget.
Yes.
And Chief LaJoy has given me his revenue budget. Unfortunately, I don't have them from all the departments, so I don't have them all here. But You can see in his budget, you know, where those different allowances are in there when I get that to you. And I guess I'll just say too, you know, one of my responsibilities as the manager is to be an ex officio member of the board of directors at Cary Medical Center.
Right.
And we see a lot of that too, and especially with this new Medicare Advantage, which has really affected in a very negative way, you know,
Absolutely.
our operations at the hospital. And so I guess I would just caution people, sometimes if something's a deal that's too good to be true, sometimes it is. And,
Yep, no,
but anyway, Chief LaJoy does have that, has given that information to me, so I just
Okay.
wanted to make sure that everyone knows that we do have that. I just don't have everyone, so.
well, that's okay. Ballpark it, that's where we are right now, we're ballparking stuff.
Right, thank you.
So we have capital, then that starts on page 125.
Are we, oh, we're going to go over capital for all of the departments as well, okay.
What was page number again?
125.
So I have them up here too as a cheat sheet.
Okay, so my capital ask for this year is $1,271,500. About half of that is the first installment for our ladder truck, which is $625,000. That's what I'm asking for in line one. We have not put any money away for that truck yet. We have discussed it in our capital improvement discussions. I'm currently looking, or I've got my feelers out there for leasing.
Thank you.
I just haven't heard anything back yet, but I'm assuming I'll hear something back here in the next week or so.
Me too. I'm working on getting you some better numbers. Little backstory. The reason why I'm pushing this is because besides believing that there's a real cost savings here, in military, we did the exact same thing, and I was involved with these people when we did the conversions and how much of a nightmare it was. So I've reached out to some of my old contacts. If I'm able to find those numbers for you, I will definitely pass them on so that we're all working from the same sheet of music and hopefully not spinning wheels in the mud for nothing. If it comes to fruition, great. If it's something we can't do, then we'll address it as we move forward. But at least we know we'll have tried for everybody in the community, you know, to save a penny.
Obviously, a lease for that type of equipment is a little bit different than a regular vehicle lease that you have, so it'll be interesting to learn on exactly how that's worked out. So I hope to have some information for you here in another week or so. Item number 2 is our truck number 7, which is in our fleet. That is our pickup that hauls our wildland firefighting gear, which includes a tank on the back, about 200 gallons of water. It is also the truck that hauls our rescue trailer around, which has our ATV side-by-side and our snowmobile rescue trailer in it. That truck is typically, or basically beyond its limits right now, especially when it has the wildland firefighting gear on it and the trailer. It's become a safety concern for operations, so I would like to start looking at replacing that vehicle. It is 22 years old. Mileage is low, but I would like to make 2 installments, starting with the first one of $35,000 for that truck and hoping to replace it possibly in 2027 if possible. Then item number 3 is the ambulance 23 remount, which will be occurring in May. You've approved to have that done, but we were still needing one more installment in that of $100,000 to complete that line. Item number 4 would be the vehicle that I have, which is truck 5. Looking for $45,000. That would be the second installment. We did put money away for that last year. The vehicle is 12 years old. That vehicle would be reassigned to our fleet. Currently, right now, if we provide mutual aid to a surrounding town for fire coverage, our paid call firefighters use an ambulance to go, and there's typically 6 of them. Between 4 and 6 that'll go. What happens there is once they get to the fire scene, do what they need to do, they're usually contaminated with carcinogens and stuff from the fire. They get in the ambulance and come back, so that basically contaminates that ambulance, and we have to go through a whole decontamination process. So by having my old vehicle available to them, they'd be able to put their gear in the back, have a clean cab to drive in back to the scene, and it would also be used for our fire prevention officer when he visits the schools for the kids. Gives him a vehicle to use. Right now he uses his personal vehicle sometimes, and also for our smoke alarm installations. That is typically done using an ambulance sometimes, which it would be nice if you just had a pickup to be able to do that. So, and it would be a general utility vehicle for us also, for whether we got to haul things around or at a fire scene, we're able to, the hose that we use and stuff, we'll be able to put that in the back and bring it back to the station. Right now, we utilize some of our volunteers' vehicles, and that's just a liability. You know, get some damage to their vehicles and stuff, we could prevent that by just using our own. So. Item number 5 is for ambulance 21, which is a future remount. This would be the second installment of $100,000. We're looking at remounting that in 2027. It would be typically the same process of what we're doing to 23. The box is a Braun box, so it's able to be remounted, which will save us a significant amount of money and get us basically a brand new unit. So typically we'd like to replace our ambulances every 10 years just to keep up with technology changes and wear and tear in the vehicles. Those vehicles are used quite often, so it's nice to be able to keep them up to date, and for safety reasons also. Moving on to 6, our ambulance 25. That's also a future remount. That would be the same type of process that we're doing for ambulance 23 in May. We're looking at our first installment to get money in for that of $150,000. We're looking at trying to remount that in 2028.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
So when you're saying the amount is $150,000, is the installment the $150,000? So the total amount is $300,000?
Correct, yeah.
So the replacement vehicle, say for number 4, is actually $90,000?
We only did 35,000 last time, so the 45, I did a small increase in that just because of we're going to have to replace the radio and stuff in it, so I just wanted a little extra amount into that. So. And then you haven't gotten to this line, but I just wanted to ask you about the overhead doors. Those are not being part of or included in the remodel that's happening right now. That's a separate thing? Yeah, it's a separate.
Okay.
Yeah. Number 7 would be ambulance 22 replacement. There's been one installment made for that unit of 125, so this would be the second one. Planned replacement for that is 2027. We might be able to push that out a little bit before we actually have to deal with that unit. And then, as Counselor mentioned, number 8 is our apparatus bay doors. We have 9 at the station, and they've been there since I've been with the department, so that's 33 years. And that's 33 years of up and down, some doors more than others, but they're starting to show their age now. A lot of the weather stripping and we've tried to do some repairs, but parts for the older doors is hard to find. Sometimes they have to mismatch things and piece things together to get us by, but we really should start looking into getting those done. So that would be 6 installments that I'm looking at for $18,000 each. to get us to where we need to be. Item number 9 is for large diameter hose. That is our supply hose, our 5-inch, which supplies water to us from our fire hydrants to our trucks. We had a lot of failures this spring during our hose testing, a lot of holes, and some things we were able to patch up. But I'm looking at getting $6,500 there so we can replace 3 or 4 lengths. Those are 100-foot lengths of hose, so get those in. Number 10 is SCBA breathing bottles. We did 1 installment last year of $25,000. We're looking at doing 7 installments of that. Those bottles will be nearing their 15-year service life, and by requirements of OSHA and NFPA standards, those bottles need to be replaced. They can't be tested anymore. We call them hydrostatic testing, and we have 52 of those bottles. Each pack has a backup bottle with it, and then we also have spares on top of that. So there's usually an average of at least between 4 and 6 packs on a truck. And there's times at some fires that we don't have enough bottles. Even with saying that we have 52 bottles, sometimes we don't have enough. So
Is that something that you could write a grant for, out of curiosity?
So initially, when we got the packs, that was done under a grant. I would have to look, but it's possible. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. We can look at that. I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
Number 11 is $12,000 for our multi-gas metering equipment. That's our gas meters. Whenever we have a CO call, or once a fire scene is done, that meter is used to make sure that the air is safe for firefighters to breathe without an SCBA on. So that means when we're doing overhaul, which is after the fire, we have to make sure that the air is clean, and so we can walk around the building. Also, if there's like minimal damage in the home, that metering equipment also makes it so we can tell the homeowner that it is safe for them to return to their home. So without that, we're unable to make that determination. So those meters are starting to cost us money now. Sensors are starting to go on a regular basis, and like everything else, you get any age on any of this equipment, and parts are like really hard to find. They just don't make them anymore. So we've been lucky so far that we've been able to find some things to repair, but yeah, they're getting tired. So it's time to replace. Number 12 is for our ballistic vest. This would be our second installment. We also talked about a grant for those. I haven't found anything yet, but I'm still looking. But those need to be replaced every 5 years, so they're at their peak here, I think.
Got those in 2021?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I remember right. And in my last item, number 13, is installment 2 of $23,000. That is for preparing for turnout gear for our firefighters. OSHA requires that gear be replaced every 10 years. We just got gear 2 years ago, I believe.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to prepare so there's not shell shock when it comes time to replace it. So just trying to be proactive on getting some money put away.
That's good.
So that's my capital. It's a huge amount.
It is, but we need to do it, right? So, back to the ladder truck. Are you looking at a used vehicle, or is that price new?
That'd be a new price.
That's a new price. Have you looked at used? Or is there a market for used ladder trucks?
They're out there, but the thing about used is another department has got rid of it for a reason. It probably has the age on it already.
Yeah.
And we're just inheriting, I'm not trying to say a headache, but,
You get what you pay for.
well,
A lot of times.
yeah, you know.
And sometimes you don't know.
Yeah, we don't know what that truck's been through or.
Have you considered spreading that expense across a greater number of years to lower the shock? 620, I mean, that is a lot of money.
Yep.
upfront.
So initially I started at, when I first became chief, I think I was like 350,000, but we didn't put anything away that year, so every year I've had to increase that amount to get us, if we were to purchase this truck, which right now we're looking at about $1.8 million. Back when I first became chief, that truck was about 950,000, so that's how much. Every year it's just crazy the amount of money. So, and the thing about the ladder truck is, whatever we choose to do, of course they have to build the truck for us to fit in the station because we just can't buy a regular model. We only have 39 feet to work with length, so they have to tailor that truck to be able to fit in the building. Doesn't really affect the cost any. But it's just that much longer we have to wait because we can't just take a truck off the lot, basically. But estimates to get a truck, by the time it's ordered, to deliver it is about 4 years. So it's 4 years.
So, what's the end of life for the current ladder truck?
20 years is usually, and we try to keep up with the ISO standards. Luckily, it's passing our pump test right now, but anything catastrophic can happen.
Oh, we passed the 20 years now? Or?
Oh, yeah, we're past it, yeah, it's a 2002, so.
So it's end of life already?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is.
Is it possible to consider getting a loan for this, as opposed to financing it through our capital reserve accounts? Just get a loan and get the thing on order. Would that be more cost effective, I think, over the long term?
Well, it locks you in at today's rate, so that part you would probably get, which you might still get if you were to order it, right? They give you.
Once you place the order, that price is locked in, so.
Right.
Even the 4 years, let's say it increased another $400,000, you're gonna get the locked price when you
Well, we could
purchase it.
defer that expense to the taxpayers for 4 years while the thing is being built, and then just go out and get a loan, and then pay it off over 10 years or whatever we pay off loans.
Or look into leasing one.
Well, I like the idea of leasing.
Yeah, I think we're all kinda
that's
interested in that.
up on top of the list to
We
see if
just
we can.
Definitely curious.
Need
I
more
have no
information.
idea whether that's even a possibility.
Yeah.
Oh,
What
there-
outfit leases out, ladder trucks that have to be custom made?
Yeah.
I don't see it, but we'll see.
I've got three vendors right now that I'm dealing with for the
They'll
ladder
build
truck.
it to spec and lease it
Yeah.
to you. Okay, good.
Yeah, so I'm just waiting to hear back.
Well, just a couple other ideas on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've explained to all of them that we're looking at leasing, but we want to learn what that's all about and what what everything is involved in it, so they're getting that information for me, so.
Okay.
So I guess I had one more thing, and that is, this is over the $500,000 threshold that would require voter approval.
Correct, yeah, that's.
So that's the other thing, that we would have to wait until November to get approval to put this into budget, right?
Right, so our charter says that any votes on these capital projects have to be in November. That was
Right.
changed,
So where does that put us in terms of approving a budget in our capital budget for that without voter approval?
Is it individual items, or is it, so just the
Well,
one
or-
item would have to go to referendum or
It's
whatever?
any project, they word it a project. So a project can consist of multiple updates to a building. It could be purchase of many fleet vehicles, if you consider it a project. I mean, this is a one-time purchase, a one-item purchase. So. But like for the police fleet replacement, we have to consider that. Is that a project, or can we do it one by one? Anyway, for the ladder truck, that's going to be an issue, not an issue, but a constraint for us. We have to get it on the ballot in November.
right.
But can we budget it now without that voter approval? Or do we have to defer for a year?
Sounds like something for a legal mind and not mine. that might be something we should ask an attorney, like what their interpretation is. Can you start to reserve money for this purchase before it's voted on? You're not spending the money, you're just reserving it for that purpose.
But you're
And
taxing the citizens.
Right, because it's municipal funds, and
Okay.
that's how it's
We'll leave it
worded
at
in the
that, yeah.
charter. So that is something I can put out to our attorney, and I can bring that answer back at, I would hope I would hear within 2 weeks, and
Okay.
we're meeting again in 2 weeks, so. I will make a note.
Thank you. Anything further for Chief?
Nope, we're good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Chief Saucier's just like on the ball here. Look at that.
Anxious to get it over with.
People are falling asleep.
Wide awake. All right.
Don't make us do jumping jacks or something.
So, police budget starts on page 81.
Evening, Mayor, Council, Manager Thompson. So our proposed expense budget for the police department shows a 9% increase over 2025. The largest part of that increase, aside from contractual wages, is the department's overtime line. Early in the stages, when we were working on this, we were pretty short-staffed. There was a lot of overtime. We had a person at the academy. We had a couple people on medical leave. So we significantly exceeded that overtime line. We're fortunate right now that we're fully staffed, and I anticipate much less overtime because we're fully staffed. Therefore, I believe that we could deduct some of what we're asking for out of that line. Probably bring it right back to 2025 is what I'm thinking. I don't believe we'll go over that, barring any disasters. I'll touch on some of the larger items requested from our department in the expense budget. I'd like to start with 00904, professional dues and subscriptions. The professional dues is basically dues for the Aroostook Police Chiefs, Maine Police Chiefs Association, the Maine Police Chiefs Conferences, and also the Animal Control Officer, which is now the duty of the police chief. All those dues have gone up, and that's the request for the additional costs. I'm asking for $650 for 2026 to cover that stuff. The subscriptions, that covers some of our computer programs, Adobe, stuff like that. (01002) meals and lodging. That's still going to be on page 81 for you. I believe that the meals and lodging should be separated if we could. The cost of the Fireside Inn, which is where we basically stay for every training, whether it's the academy or training at the academy, is $80 a night, and that's at our government rate. So if we were to send, let's say, one person to training, an average of 5 nights, would be about $400 for those 5 nights. 18-week academy for our cadet is roughly $1,450 for the 18 weeks. The meals average of $35 a day. Again, if that could be separated, I think that it'd be a lot easier to budget for for each. If we get down to 01504, the telephone, this is just for the telephones, not the actual cell phones. Apparently, the services have increased significantly, and that's why I'm asking the line to be increased to $5,850. And I'm sorry, for meals and lodging, I'm asking for $3,000. In 2025, for meals and lodging, we spent $29.35. Page 84 to 85.
Can we go back to 83 before you proceed? City and state retirement. Huge increase over the actual last year. What's going on there?
This is a Carl question.
It's a Carl?
It is a Carl
It is a Carl
question.
question. I don't budget that.
Hi, Carl. Hey.
So he was understaffed last year, and this would be all staff members on for this current year.
Okay.
Also, they run from July to June, so I'm anticipating an increase for main state retirement. Employee portion.
That's over 100% increase, 150, 200% increase.
Because they were
There's
down
something
so
wrong
much,
with
they were down
number.
that many staff members, is that what you're
You
saying?
were down 100% staffing, were you?
Well,
So
and
I
I'm
would just
also
ask you
wondering
to
if
check
this,
that number
does
again.
this also have dispatchers included, because they got included in that
That's correct.
Okay. also?
Yeah. Thanks.
Just another piece of it.
And then it also, like, so when I put this in, I also add in the paid family medical leave too, right? It's not added in somewhere else, is it?
I think that's underlying,
Okay, so I mean, I could take that out of there, because all of these I've added in the paid family medical leave.
That 1%.
Right, into that line when I put it in the departments. So if it's in 70, I can subtract that out. So in that case, that's around 16,000.
Yeah, there's something, in- I would just refer you back to the 2025 budget, which you would have budgeted for full staff. Was 200, so that really jumps out at me.
So starting on page 84 to page 85, 07902, psychological evaluations. I'm asking for an increase. I'm requesting $2,000 for that line. The cost of these exams have gone up from $630 an exam to $950 an exam. And so every officer needs to complete this before attending the academy. And also it's important to have this available for any officer who's been involved in a traumatic event, somebody to talk to. We do have a chaplain, but sometimes you just need a little bit more than a chaplain, so I think it's a very important piece of the puzzle here. 07903, polygraph testing. Again, this has gone up from $350 an exam to $700 an exam. And every officer also needs this before attending the academy. And starting in 2026, the academy now makes every reserve officer hired. From 2026 on, they have to take a polygraph exam as well. Page 85, prisoner meals, right now, we're still not housing other departments' prisoners due to transportation. Also, our cells are starting to deteriorate rather quickly. We have toilets that we just can't use, and because of that, we can't house anybody in those cells. We've talked to the plumbing contractor, and he stated that at some point, we're just gonna have to replace the toilets, because you can't just keep fixing them. They're getting to be unrepairable. But that being said, we still expended in 2025, $2,350 in prisoner meals. And I'm asking for $2,500 for 2026. The basic prisoner meal, the breakfast meal is almost $7. Lunch and dinner are close to $10 a meal. They have to have, all the food groups, they have to have certain things in those meals. So it's about a $26 a day ordeal. In 2025, we had 8 meals billed out to other departments, and the other 83 was for our department. So I could take questions for the expense budget. Again, like I said, those were pretty much the lines that I asked for increases on.
So on page 86 on the animal shelter services, we didn't have any expenses there, and so you're budgeting for $15,000 there for that?
Yes, sir. Honestly, I don't know why that's in my budget.
Okay.
I don't pay that. It comes out of a different, it's always been in the police department's budget, but I've never paid a bill to the animal shelter, but it comes out every year though.
Well, it didn't come out last year.
It did.
It did,
It
we
did.
paid it, I'm not sure what, oh,
It says zero actually.
right, and I don't remember, did we fix that? Because we paid it out of the reserve account or something, because we didn't pay it on time or something, but still don't understand why the money still looks like it wasn't spent, but it was paid. The bill was paid, and I don't know why it's not showing up there, but we paid it in 2025.
Well, I guess maybe it should come out of this budget and go somewhere else. Is that what you're suggesting? You don't know why it's in your budget?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. So that's
What's it
something
paying
you
for?
look at.
It goes to the Central Aroostook Humane Society.
I think it allows you to just drop off, correct?
I'm not even sure.
Because they,
Animal control can take animals over.
So
yeah,
that's why it's tied to the police budget.
It's kind of a contractual thing.
right.
Just like the janitor part of it. You just pay for it every year so that you can use it, so you have the services.
Right.
I honestly don't know who pays the bill though.
By Carl.
Probably Carl.
Well, sounds like it.
Okay.
Thanks, Chief.
On the capital side of things,
That's
It's
for the capital
129.
and one- yeah, 129.
Yep.
so our largest capital request obviously is for our cruisers. With a rapidly aging fleet, it's imperative the city look to replace it. Right now, we are currently evaluating 2 different aspects of leasing from 2 different companies. I don't have enough numbers to sit here and tell you guys that this is gonna work or this is not gonna work. But I will tell you that at some point, we will have a presentation for the council and the city manager. I'm hoping to have 3 presentations, so it'll give you all enough information to look at, and if this is a route that you would like to go, make an educated decision. Seeing as how this is unlikely to happen during this budget cycle, I'm requesting 2 cruisers for 2026. Our department didn't purchase any cruisers in 2025, so technically that puts us 4 behind. but that's neither here nor there, I guess. So in 2026, I'm asking to replace the chief's vehicle, which is a 2014 with approximately 150,000 miles on it. I think the chief's vehicle could go on a 5-year cycle because although it's used to respond to some emergency calls, it's not used 24/7. The estimated replacement cost in 2026 is going to be roughly $46,500. Now keep in mind, it still has to be outfitted, so the radio and the repeater cost is right around $8,400. Emergency lighting, siren, and the installation is right around $3,200. So if we go on a 5-year replacement cycle, in 2031, the chief's vehicle would cost $52,610 about. And if we put that away every year, it's a little over $10,000 a year. Also needing to be replaced in 2026, excuse me, is Cruiser 904. That's a 22 patrol cruiser, has 107,000 miles on it. My belief is a patrol cruiser shouldn't be any longer than 3 years on the road, maybe 3.5. I think that's pushing it though, because you're getting well over 100,000 miles on a patrol car. And keep in mind, they're running, almost 24/7. So again, for 2026, it'd be approximately $46,500. You would need the repeater, the radio, emergency lighting, and 904, because it's a patrol car, would need a decaling as well. That's about $2,000. So if we would replace 904 in 2026, we'd have to do it again in 2029 at an estimated cost of $50,075. And again, that's about $16,700 a year to put that away in capital until 2029 comes around. Cruiser 900 is a 2022 patrol cruiser with 92,500 miles on it. I would ask that to be replaced in 2027 at an estimated cost of $47,662. Again, you would need the radio, emergency lighting, and the installation and decals. Now keep in mind, some of the radios and stuff like that can go from cruiser to cruiser. When you retire one, you can move it over, so long as it fits. We all know that Ford changes everything all the time, so sometimes the equipment won't match up. So this cruiser, if bought in 2027, would have to be replaced in 2030 at an estimated cost of $51,380. So I would ask $17,100 a year to get to that $51,000 to be able to replace it in 2030. The detective cruiser, I was also asked to be replaced in 2027. That's a 2016 with 140,000 miles on it. That could also go on a 5 to 7, 8 year replacement cycle. In 2027, the estimated cost again would be $47,660, and we would have to put the radio, emergency lighting, and it would not have to be decaled. Cruiser 901 is a 2022 patrol cruiser with 78,000 miles on it, asking for it to be replaced in 2028 on a 3-year cycle. That estimated cost in 2028 would be roughly $48,850. It'd have to be outfitted. Again, a 3-year cycle, so 2031 would be the time to replace that. Our K9 Cruiser is a 2024. At the time, when I looked, it had 14,000 miles. I'm sure it's more now, because K9 Ace and his handler are downstate once a month. So that miles add up pretty quickly there. And finally, Cruiser 902 is a 2024. That's our newest one, obviously. Has 33,500 miles on it. It would need to be replaced in 2029. Oddly enough, that's the car that's cost us the most money in repairs. Like right from the factory, the water pump was seized. It was a mess right from the start. It's weird, the newest one too.
Are they covered under warranty, or how does that work?
That was.
Okay, good.
Is it a Ford?
Yes, sir.
Say no more.
Just a wild guess.
So I would ask for that to be replaced in 2029, and I estimated the cost in 2029 to be roughly $50,000 to $51,000, and again, a 3-year replacement. So in 2032, that cruiser would cost roughly $54,000. So that's the cruiser part of it, and I promise you that's the biggest part.
Was that 7 total? Is that correct?
Yes.
Did I miss? Okay, it's just
We
double
have an
checking.
academy car, but what I like to do is, as we rotate cruisers, move one to the academy car, and then get the academy car. We could sell them, so.
Is there any money currently on account for cruiser replacements? This is our first year.
I believe there's a little, I can't give you an exact amount tonight. I can find out for sure though. But nothing near the 46,500 per cruiser.
I don't think it's over 10. If I remember right.
We also have Power DMS, which I explained last year is basically a cloud-based program for our policies, procedures, and for training. And it's convenient, it's in one location, and it allows the officers to go right online and do what they need to do to keep up to date on their policies. That is, I'm sorry, that's a 3-year thing, and I believe we began that contract in 2025, the end of 24, beginning of 25.
So this is one of those things where I question why it's in the capital budget, because that
Yeah.
seems much more like
Yeah.
an operations and maintenance.
That's understandable. I was thinking maybe the computer tech line type thing, because it's just a computer program.
It's a subscription service that's an annual contract or whatever, so I don't see that as capital. We might want to consider moving that over to expense.
Yeah, I think we talked about that last year as well.
Probably.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep, we never made a decision.
Our load-bearing vests, every officer received a new one the end of 2024, beginning of 2025. They're good for 5 years. They cost roughly $1,150 per, and they're good for 5 years, like I said. And there's a BVP grant. Chief, probably look at that, it'll help you. It'll be pretty much half the cost of the total.
Is there bundling with that, Chief?
Sorry.
Is there bundling with that? Like, an example is like, you're gonna buy X amount of vests for every police officer.
Yep.
Oh, okay, so I
There's
was
no
thinking,
bundle.
because, if we could save a few dollars by you guys going in together and buying it, that would be lovely.
And we could do that too. There's no minimum, there's no maximum. But the EMS side of things, their vests are rated a lot higher for the stabbing part of things, for the knives.
Right.
Because they're always like really close quarters, right?
Yep.
We have the ability to probably back off a little bit, and they need to render aid right away, so.
And your
they're-
training is a
Yeah.
little bit different.
It's a
than
much
that.
higher ballistic rating for the knives.
Yep.
So are these fitted individually, or
They
do
are.
they, so as you bring in new staff, you can't reuse or somebody else's, you're gonna have to purchase a new one? Is that included in your estimate here?
It is.
Okay.
A lot of times when we get an officer from another agency or somebody brand new, well, let's say from another agency, they'll have their vest that we can buy from that agency. And we've done that 3 times this year. So if they're brand new, then it's a whole start right from
Got it.
scratch,
Okay.
measuring everything. Our gun replacement purchase, so we completed our purchase of our new firearms in 2024. That total cost was approximately $15,500, but we were able to sell our other ones to Glock, and if the officers want to purchase them, then they would purchase them, and we just sent that money to Glock. So it saved a lot of money in that aspect of it. And I'm sure that in the next 6 years, when it's time to replace them, because usually every 7 years, you like to try to replace them. We could probably do the same thing in the next 7 years, 6, 7 years.
You're looking at 2031? Okay.
Our new tasers are on a lease program. It's a 5-year lease. Payments are $45.50 roughly. That's for 5 tasers, 12 holsters, 50 plus cartridges, docking station to download all the video that's on the taser. The only reason why, Councilor Bagley, I'm asking for this to be in capital is because it's a payment plan.
Well, and it's equipment.
And I understand
that's- yeah.
but it's less than the $5,000 threshold, but
Yeah.
seeing as how it's a payment plan, but we could discuss that too.
No, I think being a piece of equipment that you have to recapitalize, that's fine to be in a capital, but in my opinion.
Our patrol laptops, every officer has their own laptop, so when they get in the cruiser, they just dock it and go. 2025, they all got a laptop, we all got new ones. I say a 5 to 6 year span on them, totaling about $6,000. And lastly would be our desktops. We have 6 desktop computers that have a lot of sensitive material on there, and we replaced all of them in 2025. So again, that's about a 5 or 6 year span. And it's really nice now because the hard drives are like this big, because we have to keep the hard drives for quite a while. So those big towers they take up a lot of space. So yeah, they should be good for another 5 or 6 years because we just replaced them. That's what I have. Any questions on the capital?
Nope.
Is there 5 desktops or 6? Sorry, just want to confirm.
There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, I'll fix that on my notes.
Any further questions for Chief?
Nope, good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I think we could definitely fit in Public Works.
He's like, I hope so. I sat here the whole time waiting.
Fall asleep.
Well, by the next meeting, we could be in the middle of a snowstorm and he can't be here, so.
Right,
Let's
right.
True,
thank
true,
God it's
true.
not snowing. We
So,
definitely should.
Madam Mayor, Council, Manager Penny, Manager Thompson. Okay, so I took this budget basically the 1st of August, so I'm still kind of getting my feet underneath me as to where the money goes up there and why, and this winter so far has really shown me. But I try to keep it as flat as possible, and there's a few increases that I'm sure you'll have questions over. Let's see here.
What's the starting page number?
91.
91, yeah. Most of my increases are, contract salaries and whatnot. Heating oil's gone up. I asked for an extra $2,500. We just didn't have enough left in the budget to make it, and I'm assuming it was costs. They tell me that they're not doing anything different or running the heat any higher. I've been after them pretty hard about it, but so I had $2,500 difference there. The light bill, obviously rates.
What is covered under new equipment, 1401?
Page 91 at the very bottom.
Like lawnmowers, weed whackers. We bought a couple of weed whackers this summer to try to get the town mowed for the ribbon cutting ceremony. Odds and ends, they break something integral in the shop, the press needs to be replaced, things like that. That's just everyday tools, really.
Okay.
Oh, let me see here.
Can I ask a quick question? Penny, did we double check that? I remember the rec, something was on a different plan for electricity where they were getting overcharged. Are any of our other departments, have we looked into any of the other departments to make sure that their rate is also correct?
I don't know, but we can have everybody check. Did you ever have a conversation since you've been here? Maybe Dave did. I don't know. I'll ask Gary when he's back.
Yeah, 'cause I remember he had a
got a
huge-
complete and total education on,
He's the one.
yes, on rates, and so he knows more about that.
And it was a massive difference.
Yeah.
It's,
That he was on one rate that was not correct, and then they fixed it, and it was a massive difference, but,
I mean,
yeah.
I looked back at Dave's actuals, trying to find out what was going on, get my eye on everything, making sure they're not leaving lights on somewhere, but everything just,
Well, even if not, just the amount that they were charging from
Yeah.
Versant or whatever, they have two different rates. I don't
Right,
know
and
how it
that's
works
a
out.
huge in the middle of the
and-
year
yeah.
or something.
Yeah, and
last
Gary
year.
knows it,
Yeah.
and I have no, all I know is that I remember the conversation, and it was a big deal, so.
Yeah. It was like the rate code or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
okay, so tires, heavy equipment. I asked for an extra 3,000. One loader tire right now is $2,800. I've got another loader that's going to need tires, so. We cut one sidewall out of a loader tire downtown, plowing, strike a curb when they're tired. If it can't be volked, there's $2,800 on one tire, right? It goes fast. Same way with trucks, it's just, everything's getting more expensive. I was hoping this year things would get cheaper, but they have not. Rock salt, guys, that looks bad. I'm still struggling with putting an accurate number to that. I keep hearing rumors around the public works water fountains that it's gonna go through the roof next year. So I'm still working on that. I'm trying to get that number down, but I'm not quite sure where to go with it just yet.
Well, is that another situation where you pay as you go, or do you have a contract where you can buy a mass and stockpile it?
Yeah.
Which you do.
If we could, we would. I used to be able to put 400 ton away over there, but I can only store 5 truckloads here. It's very minimal.
Do you have another location?
So, but
Well, and it's historically goes up quite a bit every year anyways.
it's gone up $1 a yard this year. That wasn't too painful.
Yeah.
But I'm hearing rumors of, even on the DOT contracts, where it comes from Chile, Argentina, a couple different places that it's not as good quality salt as we buy out of Canada, Kingsco. But they're talking possibility of $3 and $4 a yard increase from December to January next year.
Do we have another location that we could store it? I mean, just out of curiosity, I don't know the answer, but
That I don't know.
like
I'm not.
any
I
other
mean, also,
locations
do
of
we
our own?
know, like, with this year, like, how have we compared to, like, January, February of 25 to 26?
Their
For
rates?
usage, no,
Oh,
for usage.
Oh, no, I've got that down some so
Yeah.
far, thankfully, because Aroostook County typically averages 33 plowable events a season, from December to April 1st. We've already plowed 41 events this year, and we've only got 60 inches of snow. An inch of snow every other day for, how long did that last?
Yeah.
And then the wind blows, so. But yeah, I've got, there wasn't any calibration on the trucks up there. I'm not sure why, I'm not pointing any fingers, but I've got the trucks calibrated now, and we're getting the same effects downtown with less salt, so.
It's great.
That is really good.
Changed a few plow routes and things around so that everything's getting attention at the same time now, rather than them plowing in the country for 2.5 hours and then coming to town and plowing for 2.5 hours. Everything's getting attention at the same time with the same amount of drivers. Do need another truck, but that's on the capital side.
So back to my question about having a contract price for the year, is that something that you could pursue with your providers?
I'll look into that. We did that occasionally in PI, piggyback off the DOT. Once you commit.
Even better, yeah.
Yeah, you commit, once you commit, you're locked in, you've committed to X amount of yards of salt. They'll give you some flexibility there, but they're pretty adamant that you're gonna buy 80% of the contract, 90% of the contract.
Okay.
So that's a difficult pill to swallow if you have a really off year and
Yeah.
you don't have no place to put it, for one thing. And again, in those situations, all the salt that I ever received piggybacking off the DOT was, for lack of a better word, garbage.
Hmm.
You know, you get what you pay for.
Okay.
Liquid de-icer, I talked to them, it's still, it's gonna hold. They believe the price is gonna hold for next year as well. Traffic paint, I went up some on that. Not more than Dave has asked for in the past or actually used in '24. But this price includes me hiring Fine Line, a professional company, to come paint our lawn lines. So, you know, we've been doing it, these guys have been doing it for years with an old,
The wavy lines?
I don't want that to look like that anymore. We would still go ahead, we have all our stencils and we'll do all of our stencil work ourselves in-house. In fact, it's hard to find a line crew anymore that'll actually do it. But I've built a good relationship with Fine Line over the years. They've already offered to carry the same price that they were giving PI because of all the years of service. That they know that when they come, that I'm the one that's laid it out, market, they could do it at night and go home. So they said as long as I get to them within February or March, they would carry that same lineal foot price. And we'll have some nice straight lines in town. So
I like it.
that's why that's up a few $1,000. Construction material, catch basins, things like that. All the rates have gone up a little bit on that. Plus I have a couple of projects that's going to use a few extra grates and frames. That's why that's up a little bit.
So you have a line in here for asphalt,
I do.
for 575. How is that different from, in your capital budget, you have, line items for, roads, sidewalks, and parking lot pavement?
Okay, so the 575 is our paving budget for streets and roads in the city of Caribou. Sidewalk budget is basically, sidewalk, they call it, I think, curbing budget at one point. It's just a reserve to save, so like when we get ready to do Sweden Street sidewalks, you've seen them, they're terrible. South Main, same way, that needs to be reconstructed. That's just a reserve for that. Actually, we took 10,000 out, are going to take 10,000 out this spring to pay for the new sidewalks out front here.
You're talking the capital budget now,
Yep,
on the reserve.
Yeah.
So,
the 575 in the operations
budget,
budget is for our streets and roads.
Like the
except
actual
for-
road.
Right, the streets and roads themselves. Like if we decide to pave, I think this year I'm gonna do North Main,
okay.
and the other
We'll put that
half.
on hold until we get to the capital budget then. 'Cause
Sure.
I must be confused on something.
Yep. Yeah, there's 165,000 in there in the capital side. Because prior to me getting here, I guess the council agreed to pave all the chip seal roads, get a LCP over the top of. That 165 is the remainder of what's left in the country.
To convert the chip seal.
To convert from chip seal to LCP.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
'Cause you're
That's
upgrading.
separate from our everyday.
Okay,
paving
that
budget.
answers the question.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, I thought that might be
That makes
confusing.
sense.
It was to me at first till I found out why it's, being held separately. But, any questions on the expense budget?
Let's move
No,
on.
good.
Carl and I still disagree on the overtime rate, I see. but-
So capital starts on page 132.
Okay. All right, so my equipment reserve, I've asked for 237,750 for a new plow truck. That's a plow truck, basically turnkey, ready to go to work. We have 4 of our 7 frontline trucks are over 20 years old. We have one, this T2 that I'd like to replace. It was refurbished by the federal government in '01, but it's technically like a 92. So it's outlived its use, really. And the plow equipment, God bless Dave and Keith, they used old stuff over and over again, dressed new trucks with old equipment, and they did a great job, but steel's getting thin. It's time to start putting a few pieces of newer plow equipment into the mix as well. So we could buy just the truck, single axle plow truck for in town for around $124, I believe, with the warranty. Fully dressed plow wing, headgear, wet system, calibrated salt spreader. I'm thinking 227's a little high, but I don't think it's much. The new pickup, Dave carried all along over the years, around $8,000 a year. And every 6, 7 years, he'd buy a new pickup. His, which would be my pickup, goes down to the foreman, and then that truck goes into the crew. Which Keith and I are okay for 6, 7 years. Dave happened to total the pickup shortly before he got done, and so he's actually got a 2 or 3 year old truck. Mine's a couple of years old. But the cruise trucks are square body Chevrolet pickups that come from the government.
Mhm.
Most of you know square bodies, they stopped making them in '87. So they're, they've got some age, but we're able to keep them going, right? So those are gonna have to they're gonna go away eventually. But I like the idea of just putting, $8,000, $8,200 away a year, so we're not asking 5 years down the road for $50,000, $60,000 to buy a truck. Public Works Street Reserve. So the 192 is in there now. Using that for any project that comes up. Again, Sweden Street sidewalk, that's going to be quite a project. South Main sidewalk, same thing. And we've got that culvert replacement that we talked about on the Belanger Road when we purchased the excavator. Any of that cost will come out of that. So the 165,000 again, that's the next 165,000. That's the next installment on covering our chip seal with LCP, light capital paving. Public Works Carbon Reserve, $5,000 request. Again, for whatever comes up, we're gonna need all new carbon on Sweden Street and on South Main.
Is that going to be enough money for that? There's quite
There's money in there, I believe.
Oh, there is, okay.
Yeah, there's
okay.
45,000 in there now. There'll be 35 come spring, because we're gonna pay for this job out front. And again, I can use some of the street reserve if I need it
okay.
to help with that. Public Works Building Reserve. 5,000 for boilers, and Dave just used examples of what could go wrong. Circulator pump, I did have to replace it this year. It was actually $6,200. Shop doors, those are, right now, we got 6 of them. they're showing their age. They're past their prime, so to speak. They're $1,500 a piece. So I just want to keep continuing to add to this account so that I don't have to come to council and ask for $90,000 for new doors at some point down the road. We're only going to replace it when we have to, but we're
Was
gonna
it
have to.
15,000 or 1,500?
15,000 a piece.
1,000. Okay, thank you.
For one of those doors. And we got 6 of the insulated. I think the 2 out in the cold storage are non-insulated, so that'll be probably significantly cheaper.
You got about 35,000 in that account right now.
Yeah, well, I got, 34,780 is what
Yeah.
it is at right now. Boilers, both of our boilers, I've got the state guy coming up to do our annual inspection, but I'm hoping you don't fail us, because they're getting old. They've got some significant age on them. I'm hoping that the circulator pump was part of the reason my heating bill was so high, because it was working double time. The system was working double time. It wasn't pumping any heat, or the heat that it should have. So I'm hoping one fixes the other. I haven't noticed a difference yet, but it's been brutal cold, really, so. Parking lot, so Dave had already carried this 50,000. Increase to replenish reserve. I think he spent a bunch of money paving the fire department parking lot. But according to Keith, the parking lot's left in this cycle's Public Works South Hatch in the library, and everything will have a fresh coat of pavement, but it all costs money. But that's all I've got.
Any questions? Or further questions? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So I think that concludes our budget discussion for this evening. So we'll hear the remaining budget departments next meeting. Okay. All right, item number 11 is.
So you got the big 3 tonight, and they're the ones
Yes.
that,
Yeah.
have a lot of the capital.
Yeah.
You call
Okay.
them the big 3 for a reason.
That's right. Okay, item number 11 is old business, nothing for that. Under item 12, reports and discussion by mayor and council members. We'll start with Councilor Bagley.
Nothing?
Councilor Lovewell.
I had a question, actually. This is kind of going back to a project that we have in the works, which is the property that we're tearing down over here. Is it on Herschel? Yeah. Have we had any updates on that lately?
I have to put out an RFP for asbestos abatement. That's the next step.
Okay. Just kind of
'Cause
curious about that.
there's a lot in there, and it's going to be over $10,000, so I'm going to have to put it out for bid.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, I was just thinking, I haven't really asked about that for a
It's
while.
funny
but-
because when my husband and I were out today and we drove on Herschel Street, he's like, "What's up with that building? It's still there." And so I had to answer the same question for him today.
Okay,
too,
look, so you already knew the answer.
I had my answer on
It's in the air.
purpose.
Other than that, I don't have anything. Thank you.
Councilor Knight Fair. Nothing. Councilor Kelly. Nothing. Councilor Watson.
Let's move on.
Well, look at that, and I guess it's a nothing for me too. I feel like it has to be.
Well, we
Follow
do have a
suit.
change to the agenda, maybe you want to say publicly there, that we're not going to do 14B because the deputy mayor isn't here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we won't be doing a 14B because the deputy mayor's not here. Okay, so our next regular meeting will be February 23rd with a workshop on March 9th. We do have another executive session on the agenda for this evening. What are the wishes of the council?
I move that we go into executive session for economic development pursuant to 1 MRSA subsection 405.6.c for Development Committee.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Bagley?
Aye.
Kelly?
Aye.
Knight Fair?
Aye.
Lovewell?
Aye.
Watson?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. So this concludes the public portion of our meeting this evening. Thank you all for being here.